All right, Austin. So here we are. This is what we've been waiting for, what we've been building up for the whole year since we started doing these videos. We've got the game that we wanted, the number 1 versus number 2. All right, we're going to preview Central and Buchanan for the Valley title. We're going to talk a little bit about Liberty and Buchanan, where Buchanan just smashed them last week, 27-0. We're going to be talking all about that stuff. This is the RPO show. This is Austin Kemp. I'm Paul Meadors of the Clovis Sports Report. So yeah, Austin, so how you doing? You stoked about this game?
I'm stoked about it. These are the 2 best teams in the section, and we were hoping we'd get this matchup again, and we got it. So it's game on now.
It's game on. We're gonna be breaking this down the best we know how. We've seen Buchanan multiple times. We've seen Central a few times this year, including when Central beat Buchanan earlier in the year in the first game of track. So yeah, we got this whole show reserved for talking about this game. So we also have a couple sponsors, Austin, that we definitely need to
go for it.
Yeah, we got Dan BARROWS Physical Therapy. Thank you guys for being with us all year. And we have the Field House as well. I was just there yesterday, and they had a big party there. So there were lots of people, and the TVs were all on. So yeah, check out the Field House over there on Copper Avenue. So thanks, guys, for sponsoring. Liberty and Buchanan to get to the Valley title. That was a number 2 versus number 3 game at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Those 2 teams that played earlier in the year as well at home for Buchanan, and that was a 19-17 game. That game had a different look as well. There were a lot of guys that stepped up for Buchanan in this game, but this is a different team from that game as well. This Buchanan team's firing on all cylinders. So what impressed you the most about that 27-0 win?
We knew it was going to be a different game because Ian Kirby now at quarterback and Kendall Milton both in the game. It was pretty refreshing to see kind of the offensive innovation Buchanan showed. For the first time, I thought in more than a while, I thought maybe a couple of years. The first play of the game, they score on a fake gel screen where the slot receiver, acting like he was on a block, just turned it upfield for a 86-yard touchdown. And then we saw a nice little double move for another touchdown later in the game. I thought the offensive innovation was pretty good. And again, Liberty, it was 27-0, but it wasn't Buchanan jumped on these guys and the game was over. It was kind of gradual. There was times Liberty could have gotten in the game throughout the first half, early second half, but they missed their quarterback, Hayden Mann, and the game was kind of too big for Carson Woods, the sophomore quarterback, filling in. And evidenced by that was Liberty went to Wildcat formation midway through the third quarter with Dylan Tooker, who isn't a quarterback, and ran the ball the rest of the game. So yeah, they needed great quarterback play to beat Buchanan last Friday night, and they didn't get it. So
yeah, absolutely. And a few things of note as well is that number 11 for Liberty, a stud receiver, Henderson, he did not suit up as well, and so he is definitely one of their better football players on the offensive side, and he presents a dimension that was definitely missing.
He's a D1 guy.
And
when you lose a D1 guy out there, you're going to take a hit.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Yeah, we also felt like, I think even when it was 13-0 at half, right? We felt like Buchanan was pretty much in control of the game. I know Liberty missed 2 field goals, right? Missed 2 field goals. One was a fairly short one. One was maybe a 37-yarder that was missed, but we never felt like Liberty was a big threat against that Buchanan defense. Their running game was okay. That was the best part of their offense. Buchanan smacked around their quarterback. They got 5 turnovers actually in that game. 3 fumble recoveries and 2 interceptions. So defensively, they definitely dominated. And like you said, they didn't. The first play from scrimmage, they scored from Kirby to Darian Gaines on that 84-yard beautiful play. Yeah, but then they were just kind of trading in between the 30s for a while.
Well, I think that ensuing kickoff, Liberty took it all the way to Buchanan's 25, 30-ish yard line.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any. That was their first missed field goal.
Okay.
And then after that, it was kind of trading. Buchanan winning the field position, flipping the field a little bit. but not really that much scoring until kind of the game went on and Buchanan caused some more turnovers. Yeah. And that's a credit to Liberty's defense, who has been good all year. They have maybe the best front seven in the section. Yeah. Buchanan's up there, Central's up there, but Liberty, there's an argument to be made, and they're well coached, and they made it tough for Buchanan, just like what we expected.
Yeah, and they did bottle up KENDALL Milton for most of the game. Milton put the game out of reach with the 49-yard touchdown about midway through the fourth quarter, and that's what made it 27-0. So yeah, and we figured, we talked about it on our Twitter live deal at halftime, that we figured KENDALL was going to be due for one of his big runs, and sure enough, he did to put the game out of reach for Liberty. But yeah, Buchanan is playing very, very good football. They're firing on all cylinders. We think there's no real weakness, I think, right now.
This is probably the best I've seen Buchanan play since, they played Central in 2017 when they hosted Central and lost by 1. This is probably the best that a Buchanan team has played since that game. Mm-hmm. I think they're hitting in the passing game. Milton's a senior and he's being himself. Big, physical, well-coached O-line and a really well-coached defense. Yeah. This is, again, the best I've seen Buchanan play in a couple years.
Yeah, absolutely. And since Ian Kirby took over the starting quarterback job, we'll get into this a little bit more when we break down the Central and Buchanan game. But Kirby entered the game against Central in that first league game. Since then, so every game he started, and he's taken every snap, right? He's had a 13-0 touchdown to interception ratio
as a starter.
As a starter, correct, including the playoffs.
Right.
Pretty impressive, don't you
Pretty
think?
impressive. Yeah. He was also pretty good when he came in against Central that first game. We don't have his stats. He threw 1 pick six coming out of the second half, which was his only interception of the season. But just like that was our first look at Kirby that first time around when they played Central. And that's a really tough situation. That he was inserted into the game, no varsity experience, had been playing JV football for most of that year up to that point, and he went in and he was slinging some throws, and I was like, hey, this guy, he might be pretty good. Yeah. And he was taking hits and getting up and continued to make throws. So you'll see an even more confident Kirby this week than he was 7-8 weeks ago.
The funny thing about that game, right? We were both at that game. We're roaming the sidelines on that game, and so he goes in, the buzz on the field amongst us and other people are like, all right, who's the kid? Who is that? What's his name? Oh, he's not on even on a roster? We're waiting for that PA announcer to say his name, and he couldn't even get it right.
After Stevenson got hurt, I had no clue who Buchanan's backup quarterback was. Yeah. I thought they would maybe just go KENDALL, Milton, Wildcat the rest of the game. I didn't even know a backup quarterback existed.
Then we hear, it's a JV guy they brought up a week ago.
Yeah.
All right, against Central, and then the rest is history for what he's done. So, so he's been very impressive. But KENDALL is playing at a high level as well. He looked really healthy on his touchdown run. He bounced outside. The guy tried to leg tackle him and just kind of slipped off. Just
not gonna happen. Right.
Slid off his legs, and then Hernandez made a nice block downfield and blew that guy up, and so he just kind of walked right in the last 10 yards or so. Yeah. So that's pretty much that game. That was Buchanan and Liberty, and in the other semifinal, we had Central and Bullard. And just a couple notes about that. Bullard coming off that whooping that they put on Clovis High. We figured Central would put up 35 to 42 points, and that ended up 35-7.
14-0 at halftime, which was kind of interesting, I thought, but semifinal game should be pretty competitive, at least a little bit. We weren't there, obviously, but just some stats for you. If you didn't pick up on any stats, Jamison Silva went 17 of 23 for 230, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Leading rusher, Quali Conley, 21 carries for 166, and then a leading receiver, Xavier Worthy, 5 receptions for 108 and a TD. So kind of just business as usual for Central. Worthy's kind of been their most productive receiver this year, stat-wise. Like Hunter is obviously an unreal high school wide receiver. He's a Pac-12 guy. That could be maybe teams are scheming for him first. Yeah. But loaded wide receiver core and.
Yeah, and if you listen to our show when we broke down the Clovis and Bullard game, Bullard was down to their number 3 quarterback. They ran, Shalom Welch scored 5 touchdowns in that game for Bullard. Ran 4 of them in. So we don't have the Bullard stats, but we don't think that he was able to get that kind of space in that game.
Does not appear so.
Does not appear so.
No.
So, all right, so that's game. So that sets up our big game this week, the day after Thanksgiving. You always want to be practicing on Thanksgiving week, right?
Great feeling.
Did you ever practice on Thanksgiving week?
I was called up as a sophomore for the playoffs.
Okay.
But no, I did not actually. I was not on the actual team when we were practicing on Thanksgiving as a junior or senior.
Okay.
But I got a little taste of it as a sophomore. I was out there. Morning practice was good vibe.
Did you wear a sweatshirt out there? What were you wearing?
No, I long sleeves. So I can't.
Okay.
I can't go the hood under the pads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went sweats, long sleeves. Try not to get smoked by any of the seniors.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So, last week, Austin, and it was actually pretty popular. You went off about the uniforms. Mm-hmm. You had some definite opinions about the uniforms on the track.
Yeah.
So I might throw you a little. Don't look at my notes. I might throw you a little surprise later.
Okay. All right.
About
okay.
But more about Thanksgiving.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Let's call it tease, right?
Okay.
Call that a little
teasing
tease.
it. Stay tuned.
Well, this has all been one big tease.
Don't turn off the camera. Keep watching. So we
Not-
got some big stuff coming as the show goes on.
Even if we're at the 42-minute mark,
You have to watch this week, guys.
Keep it
You
rolling.
have to do it.
keep it rolling.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the meat of this. Central Buchanan. All right. So Central actually moved up a ranking in Cal High Sports, and I go by Cal High Sports. I don't do max prep stuff. I don't do any of that stuff. I go with the guys that go to games and have reasons for their rankings. So Central's moved up to number 8 in the state.
Okay.
12 and 0, right?
12 and 0.
Yep, 12 and 0. Their non-league schedule, we were hoping that it'd be a little bit more competitive. We wish they would have, maybe taken on somebody, maybe in the top 25 in the state, but they didn't.
But I mean, you schedule in advance, and you can't really predict.
Yeah, and they rolled over everybody.
Yeah.
Their closest game in league was the Buchanan game, a game that they were actually down 20-7. So that means 20 to 6, which means that Buchanan was up 20-6 at one point. That was their closest game. They obviously came back and won 35-20.
41-20.
I forgot that last touchdown.
All
right, 41-20. But we've talked about Central quite a bit and how impressive they are. They're the back-to-back champions. 23 track games in a row. Central section team hasn't beaten them in 2.5 years. We talked about that too, right? Bullard, was the last time to beat them.
No, so the last one was actually
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield in the Valley Championship. 17-16.
Yeah. That was it.
So,
okay.
That was the last one.
All right. So, and the game is going to be at Central. All right. So they got the home field advantage. On the other hand, we got Buchanan at 10-2. We've seen, I think, every game except for De La Salle live.
Right.
Maybe one more. One of us hasn't seen.
I wasn't at their Edison game earlier in the year either.
Okay, so
we've seen most of them.
Yeah. So those are the 2 games that we haven't seen live. So we got a really good beat on Buchanan. And like we said, there are no major injuries. They're at full strength. The offensive coordinator's doing a great job. Giordano's got it going on. So Austin, just kind of a broad range question here.
Go for it.
Okay. Let's start with Buchanan. For Buchanan to win their first Valley Championship since the year 2000.
Right.
Matt Giordano was a star before going to the NFL for 9 years and winning the Super Bowl. What is Buchanan going to have to do to upset and beat Central?
So, first off, there's probably 3 little bullet points. I kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, but we can kind of get into it now more because it's official. But Kendall Milton is going to have to be himself, which I'm pretty certain that he will. Maybe 25, 30 carries, get at least 5 yards a carry, right? He's got to be himself. Milton's got to be Milton. But also, Buchanan has to be outstanding, and I'm saying nothing less. It has to be outstanding in the intermediate passing game. If they can move the chains a little bit on 3rd and 5s. Make it like if you have a 2nd and 10 and you pick up 6, that's huge. Keep the chains moving, stay ahead of the chains. They have to be outstanding in the intermediate passing game. And in addition, they have to probably hit 1 or 2 deep shots for 50, 60 yards, probably touchdowns as well. So Milton's got to be himself, which I think he will. They've got to be outstanding in the intermediate passing game, and they have to hit 1 or 2 deep shots through the air. I would say if those 3 question that those things could happen, and Kirby's been great this year. If those 3 things happen, they have a very real chance to pull this upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you talk about Milton. He's obviously the marquee player in this game. We know how talented he is. Talk about Buchanan trying to shorten a game. You get in a shootout with Central, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Talk about Buchanan. If they could put together some 5-6 minute drives,
Yeah.
could keep Central's offense off the field. And they're getting 4, 7. You talk about that intermediate game.
Yep.
Pick up an 11-yard chunk here. A 12-yard, maybe a 17-yarder. All right, and they get down and score. I think that is definitely going to be something that Buchanan. That would be a perfect scenario, I think, for Buchanan. The type of ball game. Right. Get the ball in the game in the high 20s or maybe low
27,
30s.
24. Right. Probably the score if they win.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't. If Central gets into the 35s or more in the 40s, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, I would agree. There's also a little bit of concern, I would say, on Buchanan's offensive end. Their O-line, which is probably the best in the section, kind of matching up with Ricky Correa. He was disruptive that first game. He got in the backfield quite a bit, sacked Kirby a few times, hurried him a little bit. And then on that second level, Jacob Jones, right? Yeah. He's a stud. He's probably one of the few linebackers that I have seen just watching games as a non-biased person. Most DBs and linebackers are scared to tackle Kendall Milton, and you can see when they dive in at his legs with their head right here, they're all scared of him. Most of the time. But he's a guy that is not afraid to stick his nose in there, and he'll body you up. And we saw that the first time they played, and he's going to be ready to do it again.
It seems to me like he's the type of guy that he wants that challenge.
Right, and when you're watching him play, it looks like he does want that challenge. So that'll be fun to watch, and that's probably an area of concern. No, maybe not concern, but it's a new challenge for Buchanan because most teams don't present him with that.
So thinking about Buchanan's wide receivers.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon Hernandez is their number 1 threat. A very good receiver. Runs good routes, not super fast, not super tall.
Just reliable.
Reliable. He has made some acrobatic catches this year.
Yeah.
He's done a good job with that. All right, and then Darian Gaines has emerged as a deep threat. He caught that touchdown on the first play from scrimmage against Liberty. He's got some speed. And then Stephen Shelley.
Right.
Who isn't a tall receiver, right?
But he's a
threat as well.
He's gotten open, and he's able to find little creases in the defense, and he's actually probably the most consistent wide receiver hands-wise, just catching the ball. But all 3 of those receivers have the last month of the year have been extremely productive, but they are a little bit still inconsistent. Maybe going over the middle, catching a slant, holding on to the ball. There's been some drops between. Kind of a little bit Hernandez, a little bit of Gaines. They'll make big plays, but they've also had some inconsistencies catching the 12-yard pass.
Well, going back to Buchanan sustaining drives in a game, what happens when it's 3rd and 8?
Right.
And you're going to need somebody to make a tough catch against those really good Central DBs and their really good linebacking core, right? You need somebody to come up over the middle, maybe. Or an out, you're going to have to use technique because, like I said, Central's got some athletic DBs. You're going to have to make tough catches.
And you're going to have to create, not only make tough catches, but create separation because I would assume that Central's going to stack the box and just play man on the outside and say, hey, we're going to take away Kendall. Let's have these receivers beat us. Yeah. So you got to create separation and make a likely contested catch.
Okay, so we talked about this scenario a little bit in our pre-production meeting over there.
Yes.
In the other room.
Yeah.
In front of my cat, cat, Rusty. Yeah. We talked about what we predict Buchanan might come out and try to establish first. Okay, so let's say Central comes in. All right, we're going to make Kendall Milton stop us.
Okay.
Right? We're going to put 8 in the box. All right? However, Buchanan could be thinking, all right, well, that's probably what they're going to do. We're going to try to open it up with some passing first.
Right.
Make them respect that, because that wasn't the case 2 years ago when they met in the Valley Championship game, right? You had to stop Irvin and Milton, and they did, right? The passing game was pretty much non-existent 2 years ago when Buchanan lost to Central. So, if that's the case, let's say they do, Buchanan does decide to start off the game by opening it up first, as far as the passing game. How do you think that's going to play out?
They'll just have to be innovative a little bit. It's not going to be, hey, let's run maybe a 5-yard out. Let's run a slant, because we don't know if these receivers are going to beat those guys off the ball. I think it's going to have to be something that's creative, that kind of you are scheming for separation for the receivers, like we saw the first play of the game last week. Something where you maybe get a DB's eyes going one way and there's another receiver coming out another way. I don't know. Something innovative, something creative, maybe like a trick play even. I don't know. I would say that the likelihood of Central stacking the box to start the game is high, which also creates the defense is going to have the numbers advantage when they stack the box, but there's always that chance that maybe if a linebacker, one guy gets caught up in the wash a little bit, if Kendall Milton can get to that second level, there's going to be no one else there. So I'm probably with you. Buchanan's probably going to come out and throw the ball a little bit, but it's got to be imaginative.
So then let's flip it a little bit. So let's say they do again come out with 8 in the box. Kendall Milton beat us, but Buchanan is coming to the game saying, "All right, we're going to establish a run first."
Right.
How? I guess we could say stubborn. How stubborn do you think Buchanan should be? Let's say the first quarter, they're getting nothing and they're trying to ride Kendall Milton and he's getting stuffed. How much do you think they're just going to grind it?
If they're getting nothing early on and it's continuing, but what if the Buchanan defense is also stopping Central? If it's 0-0, honestly, I would keep riding Kendall because he's the best player on the field. And we've seen him, eventually he's going to break one. Eventually he's going to make a play that another high school kid is just not going to make a play on him, and he'll get up to the outside and he'll take it for 50 yards. So if it's a tight ball game, if it's 0-0 and Buchanan, both offenses are stalling, I think you just keep riding Kendall. Because again, if they're stacking the box and if everyone's up at the line of scrimmage, it just takes one mistake from a 17-year-old kid not filling a hole, not being in the right spot, and you get to the second level and you're gone.
All right, so let's talk about Buchanan's defense against Central. So they know what they're stacked up against. They know the offensive firepower that they have. Buchanan's defensive backs and their safety, Hayden Peterson, C.J. Jones, those guys are very, very good football players. Okay, the defensive line is good. Linebackers are good and getting better, I think, throughout the year. They've established themselves. So what's it going to take for Buchanan to be able to put a little muzzle on the Central offense?
They got to stop the run, which they will.
They did.
And they did the first time around. Central could not run on Buchanan. We have it up right here. Quali Conley ran 13 times for 27 yards. As a team, they ran 23 times for 71 yards, which is a 3.1 average. Buchanan stopped them. I think they're going to do that again. I think Buchanan's front seven is better than the Central line. But then the second half of that the regular season game, Central comes out in the second half and this goes pretty much 5 wide the rest of the game. And that's where the problems start arising for any team in the state that's going to play Central. Most high school teams do not have, in a perfect world, you have 5 DBs that can play man coverage on Central. You leave everybody else in the box, and you're getting pressure, making that quarterback throw it quickly, right?
And we saw that, right? We wish we could have some real game film to break down the last time they met, but we did see one play where they did, in the second half, they had it spread 5 wide, and it was man-to-man. So one dude slips up, which literally happened on the play that we saw, and they were burnt for an 80-yard touchdown. So that's the fear.
That's the risk you take when you're going man-to-man, and then you also run the risk of the Central receivers maybe are just better than your DBs, which is often the case, right? So Buchanan's going to have to win the line of scrimmage, which they will in the run game, but I think you're going to see a lot of zone in the back seven, and that's going to take a pass rush. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hand up, maybe knock the ball down, and then maybe just kind of got to hope a little bit that maybe Silva isn't on, maybe there's a few drops, tip passes, and which it could be. Weather. You want to talk about weather?
Let's do it later.
What?
Talk about it later. Little intangibles, coaching and weather and all that stuff. We'll hit at the end.
But yeah, and we kind of hit on what Buchanan would have to do on defense. You got to stop the run, which they did, but then you got to.
Well, let's look at a couple other things. Let's look at some special team stuff as well, because in Valley Championship games, all the little things matter. Field position, being able to have a competent kicker, punt wise, field goal wise, all those things definitely factor in. Has Buchanan returned a punt or kickoff for a touchdown this year? I can't think of one.
I don't think. CJ Jones.
CJ got one? That's right, the game you saw. He got a kick return.
And he hasn't been
North, maybe.
I don't think he's been the kick returner the entire year, especially the beginning. They've kind of started working him into that role the last month and a half.
Yeah.
He is a threat though too.
Yeah.
He's a threat to take it with the ball in his hands, and he's also started to kind of play receiver a little bit more too. They were working
on
him
a
in.
pass last week.
Yeah,
right?
which is also kind of a boost for that offense because he does have reliable hands, and he's a guy that can get separation against these central DBs.
And Buchanan's punter does a good job.
Yeah.
Field goal kicker is a little hit and miss at times.
Maybe hit and miss, kind of just your normal high school kid.
Okay.
What about the you know who Central's kicker is?
I don't.
You don't? Let's look it
Probably
up.
a football guy.
Probably a football guy.
A soccer guy.
Probably a soccer guy.
The other football guy.
Let's see. We have. Oh, good luck on this name. Nolan Fomavong.
Why did you even try?
I had to try. Nolan Fomavong.
You know he has a nickname. They call him
They
something.
call him Fom.
Yeah.
They call him Fom.
Probably.
And he is. They actually don't have his attempts. He's 48 for 51 in extra points. So.
That's good.
So
that's good. That's all you need.
That's all you need. Make the extra points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. Let's
not our finest hour. Talking about special teams.
Was it? All right. So there's special teams.
Also, he's number 64. That's a kicker number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
64. All right. So let's flip it a little bit. Central. So we know that Buchanan is definitely going to be focused in this game, and they're going to want it. Central's got a lot of things going for them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're undefeated. Their confidence is high. That was always the mark on Central. Before they won the 2 Valley Championships, they had athletes, but they couldn't put it all together. Okay, so give a lot of credit to Coach Biggs on that for bringing this squad together, because confidence is huge. In any sport.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Knowing when you take the field or take the court, knowing that you're the best team.
Yep.
Right. These guys play like that. So for Central to beat Buchanan now, is it basically just a case of just keep on doing what they're doing? However, what if Central, we know they can come back because they did that against Buchanan. Right? You can't really say, hey, well, they haven't been in a tight game. Well, maybe, 12 of their 10 games haven't been tight games. They haven't had a lot of pressure situations, but they did come back against Buchanan. So what do you think Central's going to have to do to beat Buchanan?
I think it's pretty simple. I think they just have to play like their game and play it at their, maybe not their, I don't know if they have to play their best game to win this game, but if they play a good game, one of Central's good games, which is probably Jameson Silva throwing for 200 yards, Conley finding a little bit of success and also contributing in the passing game.
Yeah.
Defense, limiting KENDALL MILTON and getting pressure on Kirby, and he's kind of running for his life a little bit, not really a clean pocket. If they just play a good game, they probably end up winning this game. It's where maybe they turn the ball over a couple times. If they have a blown assignment in the run game, if they have a guy fall down as a DB, at least do a touchdown, that's when the door starts to kind of creep, maybe not even creep open, but kind of get wide open for Buchanan to pull a victory.
And we have talked about this with Silva. We don't know how many real high pressure situation plays he's been on. There is you would have to think. I don't know him personally. I've never talked to him. I don't know necessarily what type of a kid he is, but you're playing in a Valley Championship game.
Yeah.
You're trying to go for a three-peat.
Right.
When push comes to shove, in a pressure situation, it looks like he's the type of kid though that can just be calm and step. I don't see happy feet out there. I don't see him scrambling around, not knowing what he's doing sometimes.
Right. No,
right. He's pretty
calm.
efficient.
Yeah, he's efficient. He's calm. He gets the ball out fast. Nothing that I've seen this year will lead me to believe that this stage will be too big for him. Yeah. So
good point. Okay, so let's talk about some of the little things that might play a factor in this. So looking at your phone device over there earlier, we're talking about weather, talking about the conditions. They're going to be at Collegian Stadium this Friday. So as of now, Austin, if you look at Friday, it looks like we're going to avoid the rain. Looks like Saturday and Sunday has some rain forecasted. So Friday we're looking at a pretty cold game, aren't we?
yeah, we have kickoff will be around 40, 41 degrees. So probably in the second half, it's estimated to be 37, 38 degrees. And now, you hate to talk about weather in a football game, will that affect it? But when it gets cold, it does kind of affect the game a little bit, especially when you're not super experienced playing in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
So let's say it is 39 degrees at kickoff. How does that affect either team?
It affects me.
It affects you. Sure.
I don't like the cold. I'm going to be having 17 layers of clothes.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. Yeah, for sure. That's a given.
Yeah. But, okay, serious question though. Have you personally played in games that are really biting cold? I didn't play football in high school, right? Basketball, baseball. So, good weather and a controlled environment in a gym. I'm not used to playing in elements like that. What have you heard or what have you experienced as far as, you just block it out, by the time you get the first couple of hits in? Are you ready to go? Or
you're ready to go. It's not a huge deal or anything, but playing on turf, I've never played in a really cold game on turf. I've played on a really cold game on grass at Veterans Memorial Stadium, and that's when the ball gets slick and it's kind of harder to catch, hang on to. I don't think that's going to be the case on turf. I don't know. I'm not a weather expert. I don't know condensation, believe it or not. But it does create kind of a heavier, a harder ball for a receiver to catch.
Yeah.
Maybe a quarterback. You see college guys, NFL guys, when it gets really cold, they'll wear a glove because it just helps you grip the ball more. So it does impact your kind of whole overall feel of the ball, how heavy it is, maybe it feels a little bit rounder and kind of thicker in your hand. And if you're a team that's kind of passed the ball a lot, that I would think it might not play a huge factor, but maybe it's probably something that exists.
Okay, so let's say a team had a certain advantage because of the weather like that, super cold. I would actually give the advantage to Buchanan.
No, I would agree because let's say it's not going to happen, but if it was so cold you can't throw the ball because guys can't hang on to it, you're going to lean on your running attack, and I'm going to buy the Buchanan running attack in this matchup more than the Central one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Coaching factor.
Right.
We got two phenomenal coaches. Two coaches that we respect and offensive. Kyle Biggs has taken over and just put those kids in great situations to score points, right?
Right.
Saw that with what he did with Trent Tompkins, the last few years, putting up crazy state record type numbers, right? Central section record breaking numbers. And then on the flip side, you got Matt Giordano, NFL guy, defensive guy, intense guy, gets guys to put in the right spot, gets them in the right mentality, got some hard-nosed kids over there. Then you have hasn't won since 2000 with Coach Gio, got that factor as well.
Yep.
Well, let's go back a little bit. So how do you think the game's going to be played out with the coaching styles of each coach?
It's just fun watching these two coaches get together. They're both just so good schematically. Gio being a predominantly defensive guy and Biggs being a predominantly offensive guy. It's kind of like a chess match when you're watching the game play out. Both coaches get fired up, and I don't know. This is one of the top section coaching matchups that you would get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just fun to watch it play out on both sides because they both have that knack on the sides of the ball that are facing each other,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by that. I love watching coaches. I love watching how they get the best out of their players and the schemes. And you know, you talk about the chess match going back and forth, right? Some of those scenarios that we talked about at the beginning of the show, as far as, well, what if Central comes out 8 in a box against KENDALL? Are they going to counteract that kind of stuff? So yeah, that's definitely stuff that we're going to see right off the bat, and you know, watch develop throughout the game, and all those fun things that we're going to be able to check out this Friday. All right. Any last things? Austin Kemp. I know you're pumped about this game.
I know.
You are pumped.
I am so pumped. These are Valley Championship last year should have also been Central versus Buchanan. These have been the 2 top teams in the section for 3 years in a row, and Central has a great senior class, and then you got a senior on Buchanan, Kendall Milton, going out in one of his last game of his career.
Yeah.
This is the dream matchup for high school football fans in this area.
Absolutely. And with Kendall Milton, he has stated all year especially that his goal has been to win a Valley Championship game against this team.
Yeah.
This would be a dream scenario for one of the Central section's all-time greats, Kendall Milton, along with those other seniors. And you know, you got to give props to Kendall for for being loyal to Buchanan, because you know, there were rumors, let's be honest, there were some rumors about him maybe transferring somewhere down south, get a little more exposure and different things like that, but he has been Buchanan through and through, and I love that. In this day and age of dudes transferring, and you hear about it in SoCal all the time, this guy was loyal to Buchanan and strapped that helmet on, and there is a lot to be said for that. I mean, like I said, he very easily could have gone to a bunch of different places in the state.
Kendall is the most heralded player to come from Buchanan High School up to this point. He has the offers, the awards, all state, all American, whatever you want to call it. He has all that stuff. He's probably the top 1 or 2 or 3 best players in program history. I think if he goes out with a win on Friday night, being a Garfield kid, being an Alta Sierra kid, being a Buchanan kid every single year, he's probably he has to be considered the best player, stat-wise, accolade-wise, production-wise in the history of the school. Yeah, and that would just cap it off and seal it.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. Fantastic. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of a prediction here in a few minutes as well. Austin has a big prediction on this game, score-wise.
Are you on prediction too?
It's a lot of pressure on me.
Well, we both gotta do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we get on this, so we surprised our viewers last week. I don't know if surprised it, but it was a little off the cuff about your track football uniform rankings. All right, and that was a big hit.
Huge hit.
Huge hit.
That might be an article this offseason in writing.
Might be an article, and I think Austin, your rankings, kind of a rant. You know, maybe a 12% rant, maybe 17% rant in there. You might cause some change in this. You are a big influencer. I don't know if you know how much power you had in that conversation with that camera, talking to all the people out there about the different combos and what works and what doesn't.
If you were a coach at a school I named and were listening to that, if I had any critiques of your uniform, make it happen, because it's just for the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's spend a few minutes, Austin, talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Thanksgiving in a few days, right? What are your must-haves? What are your must-nots? What are your overrated? What are your...
Okay.
Did you look at this before?
I just looked at it. I didn't look at it right now as you were saying it.
I put a star by it. So, what do you go? What comes?
I go on my plate, my very first serving. Now this is going to sound pretty generic, but
is this mom's cooking or grandma? What do you got?
Mom, grandma combined.
Okay. They double up.
I'm going dark meat turkey. I know the white is healthier, but taste-wise, juiciness-wise, dark meat turkey, slap it on the plate. Okay. Then you're gonna go in a huge scoop of mashed potatoes. And some people put onions in their mashed potatoes, not me. No, mashed potatoes, scoop it, put it in, put a little indention in, so you can. It's a little valley, so the gravy can sit in it, right?
Okay.
You get the gravy in there, a little pond of gravy.
Do you
put
add
it over
extra
your
butter?
turkey?
What's
No,
the butter
I don't,
situation?
I don't go extra butter on the potatoes.
Okay.
There is some in there, but
Okay.
no. And then I go a little bit of corn, just a little scoop of corn, and then you gotta have rolls. You gotta have a rolls. I prefer sourdough. Grandma and mom don't always buy those, so jury's out on if that's gonna be there.
Okay.
Must nots are my dad buys like a cranberry jelly.
Just for himself, Joe Kemp.
Well, because like nobody wants to eat it
Yeah.
because it looks disgusting,
those,
but he eats it, and I will never touch that. And if you touch that, that's this. If you saw how it looked, just like flopping around, you're a psychopath if you eat that. And I consider my dad a psychopath sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. What are some other? I don't have many don'ts.
Okay, so what's
for
your
Thanksgiving.
okay? All right, so skip that. So the don'ts. All right, just got a couple. Obviously the Joe Kemp cranberry.
Right. I do like stuffing, only when it's limited in onions.
Or the crunchy things.
The crunchy things are okay. The
Yeah,
onions
I'm
are what
anti-crunchy
drive me
things.
away. And I put it on my grandma's. I made a note. I'm gonna put it on my grandma's wall on Thanksgiving morning. I'm gonna go there early. I'm gonna say no onions and stuffing, please.
Yeah.
And it's probably not gonna be granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grandma's gonna put those onions in the
Yeah,
stuffing.
she is.
Okay. She can't go half and half.
No, it's gotta be full.
Okay, Grandma.
Yeah.
All right. How about dessert situation? What do you got?
Okay, dessert. This is important, guys. Is pie, right?
It's pie.
Gotta go pie.
Mhm.
I don't want ice cream. I don't want to hear cake. It has to be pie for Thanksgiving dessert, and it
Like the
has
Pilgrims ate cake.
to be pumpkin pie. Now, pumpkin pie is not my favorite pie, but on Thanksgiving, it is my favorite pie. You can't go. There's debate for apple. I scoff at apple pie on Thanksgiving. That's Christmas, but Thanksgiving is pumpkin pie. I don't go whipped cream, but if you go whipped cream, that's fine too.
Mhm.
But you gotta go pumpkin pie. Every house has to have a pumpkin pie in it for Thanksgiving dessert.
It has to be there.
It has to be there, and you have to have. Even if you don't like it, you gotta eat one piece.
Is yours consumed though by the end of the day?
Oh yeah,
It's
Yeah.
consumed, the whole thing.
I don't eat
It's
it
just-
myself.
No, I know,
Yeah, it's a
but by
piece.
everybody.
Yeah, by everybody. It'll be gone.
Okay. All right. What is the normal camp starting time to eat Thanksgiving? What is your average start time? Are you guys like mid-afternoon? You guys are
We tell
2:18?
No, we tell people like 3:30.
3:30.
We usually eat around 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just chomp on the
We
leftovers.
kind of
for
chomp
the
on
rest-
it for the rest of the week.
The rest of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do the rest of the week.
Yeah, maybe some underrated. You go mashed potato, turn them into potato pancakes,
Okay.
fry them a little bit. Kind of fun.
Potato lackeys.
Potato. Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Well, now you know. All right. Okay. I'll give you the 37-second version of mine.
Okay.
All right. So mashed potatoes, dark meat, white meat mix, corn. Throw it all in one. Almost like one of those. Yeah. Throw it all in one.
Almost like a salad
Put
for
a
Thanksgiving food.
A pat of butter on it. Boom. Mix it.
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
Okay.
All right. Jello salad.
Yeah.
Candied yams. A couple bites here and there to keep my mom happy.
Right.
All right, now we're going to disagree about the pie. I'm an apple pie guy all the way. I know a lot of my respect factor, I think, from him went down a little bit. But apple pie, pumpkin pie, I will appease whoever made it or save Mar or whatever. I'll do a bite. I'll do a bite.
appease the vibe of Thanksgiving, like having a bite of pumpkin pie.
Okay, but growing up, I was not a cake guy for my birthday. I would ask for an apple pie or an apple crisp. So that's my apple pie.
Gotcha.
Another funny kind of note. So when I first met my wife, they were very, very informal about their Thanksgiving. All right, everything was laid out. You grab a paper plate, you go in line, you get your stuff. Me, opposite. Growing up, you had like 17 pieces of silverware. You started outside and worked in. Whoa, which way do we pass? They talk in like an English kind of.
Yeah.
Are we going counterclockwise or
Right.
clockwise today?
Right.
Kind.
Yeah.
So kind of that kind of stuff. So when I got to my wife's first Thanksgiving, I went, what is this? What is this witchcraft?
Yeah.
Right? You get your own. What do you mean? No, I gotta wait. Okay. So anyway, so that's my
We go conveyor line too.
your conveyor line.
Yeah, and you sit wherever.
Big family.
Pretty big.
Okay. So there you go.
9 aunts and uncles, maybe 8, something like that.
Okay.
A lot.
All right, how much of this where we're going to have to edit out before we get to the big reveal? We don't know. We might just let that ride. So, Austin, we've been talking a lot about Buchanan and Central for the Valley title. We've been talking about these guys, and we've gotten to this moment after making 6 or 7 videos. We're finally here.
Right.
You're looking at something.
I'm just pulling up my notes.
Are you ready for the big reveal?
Well, I don't know where you were going with that.
Okay, you got more notes?
No, this is my evidence for my
Should I
pick.
just do a drum roll?
I think you should pick this. You should predict this game first.
Okay, so you put me on the spot.
Yep.
Austin Kemp, I'm thinking this is going to be a game for the ages.
Okay.
I am predicting overtime.
Whoa. We haven't had an overtime game this year, I don't think.
I'm predicting overtime. I'm predicting 27-27 at the end of 4 regulation quarters, and we're going to have overtime.
Okay.
We're going to have overtime. And the home field advantage, all those factors are going to play into this game, and Central is going to pull it out by the final score of 1 touchdown more than 28. 6 plus 28. So
Okay.
34.
34 to
28.
28.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's going to be the final score. Central.
What way?
My heart, Austin Kemp, is the other way. I am a true objective person.
Yeah.
And so that's just
Right.
my thoughts. Do I want to be proved wrong for the sake of the Clovis Sports Report and having a fun article to write and to talk about for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
I would like Buchanan to win.
That's an extremely good pick, right? Central is at home, right? They won a lot of games at home. Central has 29 straight wins versus Central Section opponents. Okay? They have beaten Buchanan 5 straight times, and since 2001, Central is 13-6 against Buchanan with 11 wins in a row. No, 11 of the last 12 wins in a row.
Okay.
Right? Coach Biggs has proven to be one of the best coaches in the state. 5 losses in 4 years at Central. Pretty good, right? But something is kind of telling me to go the other way, right? I'm actually going to go Buchanan to win it. And give me that headgear.
He's doing it! He did it! He did it! Taking care of business. The Bears returning to glory. It's been since the year 2000. Bears all the way. Well, there you have it, guys. I think that is a good way to end the show. We're going to send it off like that. We got some BTO greatest hits going right here. We have Austin Kemp in a bear costume, bear head. We got an awesome game this Friday, 7 o'clock, Allegheny Stadium, #1 Central against Buchanan, day after Thanksgiving. You guys got it all. If you guys watch this whole thing, you're gamers. We love you. Watch for our updates this Friday at the game. Check out Twitter at Austin_Kemp, at Paul Meadors. So, great show. Good job. And we'll see you out on the field.